All things being equal, as they never are, thank you all for being here. It literally means more than I could possibly say in 100 lifetimes of hourly games, how much the opportunity of actually playing means, and how much joy, how much enjoyment, appreciation, and adulation I have for your skills, your talents, your efforts thus far. This is, as is often the case, a labor of love. Sometimes more labor than love, but always a very loved activity. Thank you. Thank you. And the third time's the charm. Thank you so very much. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, Soup City Sins, Sheltered or Saved. Ultimate episode for season 1, titled Absolution through Vice. The winding, near gyroscopic path that the coterie has traversed, getting to this moment, has been a valley of lows and a mountain of insurmountable obstacles. And yet, through it all, they've managed to find enough footing to fall forward. The halls of power ring with the name of the coterie. The whispers seeking to arrange a coup d'etat against those very halls and those who operate within them screams the coterie's name. The truth of what the shelter is and has been escaping every single solitary kindred in the entirety of the Chicagoland area. From the streets of Milwaukee to the alleys of Indianapolis, the shelter is a known quantity. Ripples from their actions have reached as far south as New Orleans, as far east as Miami, and as far west as San Diego, and many places in between. The effects of what they've affected rings far louder than they might have any chance of actually understanding. And for the first time this entire season, for the first time in nearly 3 years, the shelter has convened in their sanctum sanctorum. While the shelter itself is a former hotel, a former hospital, a beacon of spiritual energies, a whirling vortex of things real and imagined, all as dangerous as death itself. The shelter, to which there is its own community, the business, with so many hands and avaricious intentions labeled at it, takes up a large portion of the property space. And yet, the shelter coterie's haven, taking up all of the many floors of the building, the yet rehabbed, constantly boarded, and seemingly abandoned portions of the actual coterie's haven, is not their sanctum sanctorum. It's not the labs, nor the greenhouses. It's not the libraries. It's not the weapons laboratory. It is not the books. It's not the separate suites that are homes unto themselves inside of that secret walled off space. The sanctum sanctorum of the shelter is by far more fitting than any could ever put their finger on, because the sanctum sanctorum, where they've spent the vast majority of their space, the vast majority of their time, the vast majority of their energies in, is the morgue, the space they now inhabit. The furnace The story is cool. The lights operating on emergency power, allowing shadows to stretch and move of their own volition. The cold storage, powered by emergency generator and backup power, still operating with a hum, yet for the longest period in its existence, empty of bodies brought and laid low by the shelter. And this is the first time in recent memory shelter has gathered, and there's not a plethora of body parts in either the cold storage or the furnace. There's an odd feeling or an odd thought, realizing that of all the places, of all the spaces inside the actual haven, that this is by far their actual home, the actual center of what the show. This space usually held for the last few moments as the weight of the soul filters away. This space, at the end of a tunnel into hell, a dark, foreboding place hidden by its sheer, overwhelming oppression, its feeling of death. This space, at the bottom, removed from every facet of actual life, is what is the heart of the shelter coterie.
What?
Why you do that?
Sorry, I'm being attacked by small children. Have I lost audio or something?
No. Miriam and Hesh gathering thoughts, I believe.
Oh, okay. So, based on the narration, we are, gathered within the shelter itself.
Yes.
Aaron will just kind of walk into the room carrying an empty cup. Not filled with anything, because drinking it would taste like sludge and come back up, even worse. But just kind of the ingrained habit of holding onto a mug full of, historically, coffee as the wee hours burn their light. And just kind of walk in, plop down on whatever surface is available, and go, alright, we have...
This would be a full morgue, so there are probably 2 to 3 exam tables, lots of drawers. Like he said, the drawers are for people, not paperwork. The paperwork is usually in the back office, so, and there's like rolling chairs and the sink and stuff. So,
all right, so he'll plop himself out on one of the morgue tables. Just not messing with them. One of the morgue tables, just enjoying the kind of irony of being a cadaver, and just so we're just tossing them into the slots and then getting on with it.
For now, but we will need to remember to at least feed them.
Yeah. Yeah, so on the note of getting on with it, what are our plans? I know we wanted to do something before all this shit, he says, gesturing with his mug. But I think it's a little bit late for that. If there was a meeting, I'm pretty sure we fucking missed it.
Yes, probably.
I can, spend some time investigating the area. Try and figure out if we can snag the next one.
Might not be a bad idea.
It also would
Um,
help if we knew who was meeting and why.
Well, I can do all of that, but that's kind of a time-consuming task, and we've got
Yeah.
somewhat other pressing matters.
Though, a good question would be, do we want to leave that one, and she'll gesture at Theo, in here? Or do we want to leave him in the secured room?
I mean, that's up to Hess. He's proper stiff now, as far as I can tell. I don't expect him to be up and running around. The last time that I shot him, it took. It didn't go shallow like before.
Unfortunately, he's correct. The lights are off, but there might still be somebody home. But the thing is, he's been done enough damage that they wouldn't be able to really move him much.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm also not exactly happy with the idea of leaving him in there for too long. It's, as much as I'm amused by the idea of being a cadaver on a table, I don't think I would quite enjoy being locked in there like he is right now.
No, it's not fun. Remember, I just went through that pain in myself, getting rid of the infection, but they brought me back quick enough that I didn't spend much time locked in myself, but I was locked in my beast, which is a whole different fucking problem.
And we still need to take care of that for me.
The locked in your beast bit? Or are we talking
Removing
about
the infection.
blood? Yeah, okay. I mean,
That one, yeah.
you said you've got a secure room here, right? Pretty sure we can use that.
Yeah, we could, but that's not. We gotta come back and circle to that around with now. Our best bet to get them out of Topher is getting strong enough blood, and I think I might have to make a phone call for that and hope that they still will work with me, because the person that I worked with, is no longer here.
I can try and get a hold of our Banu Hakim representative. I'm sure she'd enjoy the opportunity to hold some sway with one of the more clandestine members of the kindred body.
Do we have any other favors we could call in?
We're running a little short on them at the moment, seeing as how Temujin one less of them and everybody's covering their ass. I like the Nano Hakim thing. Do you need a landline? I mean, I got one down here.
Yeah, that would be better than going out and trying to use a public phone. Generally, I don't like calling her, but I don't think I have the time to run out to the embassy.
How old is... No, that's not quite the right question. How long dead has Aaron been?
It's been something like 20 years.
20 years is a significant amount of time. So he has the understanding of his state. And at the exact same time, 20 years ago, cell phones were, well, the newest thing. Most people hadn't quite completely got rid of their landlines, but the vast majority, roughly 90% of the population, had gotten rid of their rotary phones. Seeing a rotary phone is, even then, a rarity. Here we are 20 years further along than that, and seeing a rotary phone, a compact, high-tech rotary phone, is very much akin to being hit with history all in one moment. It's a little dusty.
You know, with the way that we work, I was kind of used to antiquity, but that's somehow impressive. Do you mind?
It's
No, that's why I
worse.
told you it was there.
It's far worse. It is not an injury to insult. It is an insult to the injury of the insult, because as you close on that high-tech slimline rotary phone that was all the rage right before rotary phones stopped being everywhere, there's a cloth covered line that is hardwired into the actual phone and into the actual wall.
My God, I think I saw one of these in my grandpa's. He says as he picks it up and begins running himself through the paces of how exactly to operate one of these things. Before, I guess, calling in. Navigate my way over to the appropriate channels here. Alright.
Hestia, how is Hestia's resolve? How many dots does she have?
Two.
You know, when you assign someone something, you finally break down and you ask for help. And someone takes 4 additional steps past your last nerve to do a thing. That's what it's like watching Aaron begin operating the phone. 1, he didn't check to make sure that the dial tone had connected. 2, he's starting without dialing the country code, because unfortunately, the plan that this is connected to, you do have to dial the 011 and the area code and the prefix. And as you're watching it, the look on your face is not quite priceless, but close enough, because he didn't verify the dial. No, he didn't dial the country. Wait, what? And Aaron, you're watching Hestia's face go through the contortions and the acrobatics to keep her peace, and it is obvious you've done something. Not quite sure what, but she's busily trying not to focus on you, yet you're all that she sees.
Do you want to dial it for me?
Yeah, otherwise it's never gonna get out of here. So I will forget it as soon as I hear it, but I think I need to do this. And she walks over, takes the handset out of his hand, puts it back in the cradle, gives it a couple seconds, lifts it back up, and puts it to her own ear. Getting the dial tone, she hands it to him. Now, what's the full number, country code, area code, all of it?
Country code?
final. And she puts the country code in for him.
Oh, okay, cool.
We're in the United States. It's important.
All right. You're gonna be wanting to call. This is the actual number. I don't know if there's any more additions that you need on there, but 888-584-7898.
He adds the appropriate extras to that and dials out.
And as you're dialing, Miriam, here's the funny thing. You first came to the shelter for sanctuary, for shelter. They're what they were labeled as, what they, for the most part, actually provided in your time with them. You have never been in more danger. And not from the many vicious, physical, explosive things that you've all dealt with. The truth of the matter is, as a proponent of art, as a proponent of the value of life and this, that, and the other, the truth of the matter is, underneath it all, what you've admirably, for some, held at bay is the very real aspect that you are a danger to yourself emotionally. There's always a point where the ends are justified by the means of getting there. You all, for all of the damage that the shelter has done, all of the lives taken directly and indirectly because of their action, for the innocents lost along the way, they have been a corporation of outward-facing help. A community of humans which are less than 100 feet from where you all presently are. The thriving individuals who would not have been here these 3 years or the 10 years before if not for the shelter's existence and what they've gone on to wreak in the communities around them. The value of their good, though not directly done by their hand, is incomparable. Reality of that is sitting here before you. The small fact that there is a way and a space that they could, if bent towards it, be a safe line of communication to others throughout the city. They could, if they were able to wrest control and mastery of this space, be a beacon for the world around them, protecting them in every facet possible. Is the only ethical thing to do, yet in doing so it would cross the boundaries of so many lines and veils that you arrange for yourself. Floating along the surface of the ocean means that as the tide rises, so too do you. However, in not maintaining the purity and the safety and the tranquility of the ecosystem of the ocean, eventually everything that's resting upon it, all of the flotsam and jetsam, will sink as the ocean sinks. Being near the shelter, being involved with the shelter is very much a danger to the ideologies that have made your existence what it is. Even as the protection of them furthers proof of the reason for those ideologies and philosophies. You're in a morgue, for God's sake. Above you is a crematorium. The space here, while not utilized to its full potential, has spawned entire families in its own unity. Looking at the tables where you've laid out associates, friends, allies. It's a hard thing. Because everywhere you look, there's a memory of someone who had fallen or had to be brought here to be disposed of or dispatched. Everywhere you look in this morgue.
I love these grim narrations, I'm not gonna lie.
Miriam is just going to stand there, rocking slightly back and forth on her feet, just quiet.
Now, before it connects the SDM, is there anything you don't want me to say?
We don't want to tell them about the dice or the thing in the office. Can we leave that out? Just say that we have two friends of ours that need stronger blood than we have to come out of sleeping, or whatever you want to do. But just make it simple, but truthful and simple.
Alright. Alright, it's not a direct connection. That would be fucking silly. So, it might take a little while to get transferred, but I'll see what I can do about not letting any info out.
What can you do in truth, in point of fact?
Yeah.
Because at the end of it all, even using the surprisingly very old phone tree, one call being relayed through another switch to another phone to another number to a forward phone, which is nowhere within the Chicagoland area. It's completely outside of the Cook County area. It's actually several states away, which is forwarded to another phone, making, if anyone were able to actually track or trace or geolocate where that number actually was, they'd be somewhere in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, while the call to whom it's actually received is somewhere considerably closer than that. And you get the Fall Valley Girl voice on the other end of the line. Go for Century. And it's very, very a poor approximation of it. And you know that because you met the young lady who actually is Century. And she's neither young nor a lady.
Oh, hi,
But she-
Sentry. I wanted to know if you had taken a walk tonight. I've heard that Ophiuchus is very visible in the sky.
I say, and you hear the pages turning, the lip moistening. As the coded phrase is run through various cross references, the old way, page to page to page to back. Well, I see that there is a mate in motion. If you would, if you'd call back in 5 minutes, I'm sure.
Understood.
Line goes dead.
Well, that went well.
It did. You didn't get a kill order. You got a call back, which means that you'll be connected.
Thank you for withstanding my spontaneity there. I've been looking up things and trying to come up with a coded phrase the entire time.
No, it's a great thing. There's it speaks to the level of trap and counter trap that's always at play when dealing with monsters who've been at the game for eons.
That even after going through the long string of back and forth phone calls, you still need to say the right thing. Alright. Well, he kind of looks over to Hestia and to Miriam. I guess we're gonna be hanging on for a second. Be happy. It wasn't a termination request.
That consideration is not a small thing. He dialed a number that could have initiated a KOS for those in his immediate area.
I didn't know that was even an option. I might want to have said that before we did this, because I kind of like existing.
Oh, it's okay. I had faith. And beyond that, if it was going to lead to that, I really can't forewarn you.
I mean, a possibility, just so you know, hey, I do this, we could get killed, might have been. That's all we're saying.
We is a stretch. Well, not really as much as I would like it to be, but we is a stretch. Also, I mean, it's the Banu Hakim. What did you expect?
Don't know. Haven't met many of you.
Alright, well, suffice to say, whereas the Tremere hide their daggers in their words, the Banu Hakim hide their daggers in you.
I'm just gonna blink at him. You know, I would get mad at that, but you were fucking right. That is all there is to it.
I don't know much about the all that magical shit, but I do know that. Dealing with too many three-letter agencies in my past. Oddly enough, it kind of prepped me for this life.
Just like it prepped Alexander.
Oh god.
So I suppose, to be fair, daggers and words could really apply to a lot of groups.
Absolutely. I just have had negative experiences with Tremere recently, so that was on my mind.
Funny, Tess, where he's standing and mentioning negative interactions with Tremere. Exactly where he's standing was where Aiden took his final breath. It was weird. You didn't realize that Thin Blood, well, the Dustborn, the dregs of Kindred Society could actually breathe. But yeah, lo and behold, he took his last final gasp right there.
I guess Hess just slips into the 1,000-yard stare. Is that what we're seeing, Hess, or does it not show itself?
Oh, she is far, far away. She is picturing all the meetings they've had in that specific entrance, and Blue, and any number, like so many. It's like watching Seinfeld watching Kramer walk through the door. It's like that in her head right now.
So the weight of time is effectively settling on you. Aaron just kind of still holding the phone up to his ear. Like, hey, are you okay?
Just give her a moment.
Live through a lot.
Well,
every time I get attached to somebody, they end up dead. Which is why I try not to get attached to anybody anymore. You poor suckers are the last. And then she walks towards your office.
just as she's walking away, well, that's ominous, he says as he looks over to Miriam. Do people who tend to be around here disappear often, I guess?
I mean, we have a history for a reason.
And yeah,
Chill.
Several reasons, if my reports are to be believed. How... You know what? I'm just not gonna ask for the mortality rate. I'm already dead. What the fuck do I care?
She will finish locking up the freezer refrigerators with the two and head on up to the office as well. I mean, we're fairly certain that at least a couple of us are still alive.
Yep. We can only hope. I'll set this down, and I guess we'll go wait for the call in the office.
Yeah, probably.
She sticks her head back out. You gotta put the phone in the cradle, otherwise it won't ring through.
Alright. Sets the phone in the cradle. Weight of the dragon nest bear. Nani? What have I rolled for, Nobu? I also love that you're doing the rolls for us. It feels a lot more... a lot less obstructive. So...
Sitting the phone back into its on position, which is a weird thing to consider. But with cell phones, there's no slamming, there's no receiver into the cradle, there's no ending or connection of dial tone. Either you can dial out or you can't, and that's usually because you don't have Wi-Fi. It'll connect to the most closest network of cell towers. The phones of yore were effectively out of service if you removed or kept the receiver out of the cradle. Putting the receiver into the cradle turns it on. It closes the circuit, allowing other charges, other calls to come through. Much in the same way, having been inside the morgue, having been inside the actual shelter long enough, Aaron feels that pressure that you can initially bluster past, you can initially ignore, you can initially not feel the fact that even though you are dead, your hairs, forearm, at the nape of your neck are standing at grade rest. You can feel now how portions of you are seeking to retreat from as much exposure as possible. Your nose is flaring as if you are having trouble breathing, which is an impossibility because you are in fact dead. Yet, if you were aware, hyper-vigilant even, in regards to the autonomic physiological responses that your dead body was going through, you'd assume you were fighting for your life. With the third eye even mostly open, even partially active, you'd feel all of the bombarding of the spiritual energies rushing at you. It is like hearing an actual rushing river for the first time. Not the cinematic movie quality, slightly dulled reality. No, but the scary, real life power of water rushing past you, heedless of your very existence, uncaring as to your very existence, predatorily stalking you without any consideration of you. A river in rush, a mad 100,000 gallons of sheer unmitigated power moving past you is enough to cause something inside you to vibrate into existence. And that's the same thing that Aaron is experiencing now. He realizes that that noise, that wind, that chill, that bombarding of gamma radiation all around him is in fact predatory and would swallow him whole. She and Miriam are good to be home.
Sometimes it really hits home that everything is relative. He says as he's following behind.
What do you mean?
I don't know. One man's war zone is another man's living room.
Yeah, I can see that.
He kind of walks with a bit of a burden-borne slump to his shoulders. So, before this goes any further, do you all have any unfortunate dealings with the Ashira representative?
No?
That question is so very apropos. Not long before Miriam entered into the coteries' existence, there was an exchange between the sheriff and a undercover operator on the far south side. One of those who received a plenary indulgence is in fact a member of the Ashira, technically with diplomatic immunity within certain boundaries. What most people fail to realize and don't speak about outside of proper circles is that the Tower of Chicago, for years and years and years until the rise of Prince Jackson, considered a red line, literally and figuratively, drawn across the city. South of a certain portion, you were officially outside of Chicago. It was still within the city, but 7900 south, and you were officially in no man's land. Officially, south of 7900, you were no longer under any of the protections of the tower. The idea of it is still held viable today, though not in practice. The hounds, which the shelter were and are, would pursue you as if you were still very much inside the city proper. Quiet is kept though. Many deals were cut, many arrangements were made south of 7900. As well as west of Cicero. Those spaces were the DMZ. Still part of the city, still part of the tower. But the truth of the matter is, much like New York, Chicago is too large to effectively, constantly, absolutely police and patrol without a very heavy hand, without a strict iron to the velvet glove. It's the reason why officially Chicago's never had a scourge. Officially. Unofficially, And as far as the rumors go, the shelter are responsible for their scourge no longer existing. So, Hestia, you, in fact, do know that the diplomat, the representative, the primogen from the Ashira, Miss Alkindi, her right-hand woman, Miss Rana, doesn't in fact like the shelter. Because you all know some of her dirty laundry.
It's kind of smirks. Not directly with that specific person, but not a friend of a friend, an enemy of an enemy. Their second in command got caught up to some shit, and we might know some things, so they're not our biggest fan, basically.
Oh, fun. I'm not gonna ask you because I don't want to be on a list.
Probably best. Yep, but that I don't know whether that's going to make a difference one way or the other as to how this goes. But yes, to be 100% clear and honest, yes, there is a little bit of bad blood with somebody higher up, possibly.
Alright, well. Depending on who's the one giving us the call, that might flavor this conversation a little differently.
Oh, it definitively will. Without a shadow of a doubt. Whether Miriam decides to share or not, the name, if it was given, not sure that it was. If the name of the second in command was given, Miriam knows that where they get their tattoos done and who their favorite tattoo artist actually is.
Well, that's news to me. Yeah, she doesn't know. She doesn't know.
Anything else you want me to ask her about while we get a hold of somebody?
Well, I don't know how much you guys get involved with the city at large and the protection of the city at large, seeing as how the hounds were supposed to be doing that. But if you would like to share to them about the bat situation, that would be great.
I believe it's been conveyed. As well as he kind of just does that half-hearted yada yada gesture. Most of the proceedings of that night. Or that event. She's been adjusting plans. Nothing bad for us, but adjusting.
What do you mean adjusting what?
Well, as far as I'm aware, nobody was prepared to have a wonderful, debaucherous event pop up in the middle of the city that released a bunch of infected quasi-vampiric bats. Nobody was prepared for, well, a primogen to up and bite the dust. So, plans need to be adjusted.
Nobody ever respects the Spanish Inquisition.
Miriam is going to look over at Hesty. It's like, at this point, I think we should just expect the craziest shit and operate as that's going to be the normal day.
Yeah, honestly, from what I've read about you all, that generally does seem like a good attitude to have.
We didn't get the Spanish Inquisition, but we did get a Templar Knight once. I wonder what happened to him.
Did you not kill him?
No, actually, we were
Not that one,
pretty
no.
nice to him, and we wanted him to be modern, and we tried to teach him about the 20 whatever century.
Oh, wait. Is this a kindred from that era?
Yeah.
Alright. I thought you were talking about like a modern day Templar.
No, he was a legitimate Templar. In full armor with a sword. And then he wandered off, and we haven't seen him since.
That's pretty intense, honestly.
Nah, that's just a Tuesday.
Did he speak English?
A weird version of it. Kind of like, common.
Like the Latin version of Spanglish? Oh, hold on. That's a terrible dichotomy.
So, we'll start with SG. All of this is happening at the same time. You're saying, what about that night, that long dead, should have stayed dead spirit? The slamming on the roll down doors for the morning is enough to have you nearly leap out of your skin. It is literally in about 27 feet from where you're sitting to that door. Nothing should be able to move that fast or get to you that soon. But the fact you understand what powers and energies are flowing through this place at all time, the fact that something made it down and pounded on that is enough to bother you. Because in the olden days, someone would have been on security. Someone would have been listening, watching, warily, hyper vigilant, focused on killing and tearing off their shirt and putting their body in the way of anything that might have. But now, those days are gone. So the pounding is enough to have you leap to your feet. For Miriam, the pounding is not the sound of a heart, nor the cry of a child. The pounding is not hell unleashed onto Earth, so she's considerably calmer about it, after all. Death comes for everybody eventually, and you know that one day it will in fact not only come for you, but drag you screaming into anywhere and everywhere but here. So, mostly here for it. So the pounding doesn't come as nearly as much of a surprise as it would have as little as 3.5 years ago, when the world was newer, when you understood the boundaries of what was possible, where there was some semblance of safety. And for you, Aaron, The snarl of "what the fuck now" escapes out of you unbidden. The angry response of your beast with not another goddamn surprise is hard to force down into something a little more quiet, but it's possible. Just possible, especially as when doing so, your beast, your monster, decides now is the time to take its pound of flesh. If it can't have blood, it will have you.
Oh, yay. So, as this flood of emotion hits air, and he just, God damn it! And begins marching off towards it.
I'm not expecting anybody. Are we expecting anybody?
Not as far as
We're-
I'm aware.
Never expecting anyone. But there are maybe, 12 people who know about that entrance?
Well, depending on how tonight goes, there will be less.
I popped in ping. Oh, yummy.
Small angry Hestia is small angry stomping towards the door.
Well, I hope whatever it is, it's got a pulse.
Unlikely.
Shame.
We'll head on to the door.
Though, of course, that doesn't necessarily stop me.
The worst thing is, it's almost the opposite of stopping you. There's a small portion of your brain that's hoping that it is, in fact, a member of the kindred community. Something and someone that could go easily missing. They've already died once. Fortunately for Miriam, the torpid form of Theodore, that small portion of Aaron, much like a broken clock being right twice a day, is 100% accurate. As you all close on the rolling door that you all close behind your entrance inside, there's not many living things that would willingly come down that long, winding path into hell. Fewer things dead, knowing the cost of crying. But as you all get near the door, it is quite obvious that there's nothing there living. Even as a face that you've all seen several times at Genghis's parties, or when you manage to interrupt some of his business dealings, or go to his party house there in Bugtown and north of Wicker Park, you all recognize Gid for what he is. And he's standing there moving from foot to foot, unprepared for any sort of attack. He's clearly not one possessed of very strong survivor traits.
The little side door next to the rolling door. After seeing who it is, she pops her head out. The fuck do you want?
Hey,
Hi.
hey, like, I know this is, I know this is a little weird,
No.
well, I saw you guys, like, drive down here, so I wanted to make sure you guys were okay. And I was waiting for you guys to like you come back around, and I was told to like I'm supposed to call somebody, but I don't really feel too good about calling somebody without letting you guys know. I'm supposed to call somebody.
No,
Who
Who
are
are
supposed
we
to call?
calling?
call anybody.
Can't say because I'm not on the other end of the phone, like whoever's gonna answer. But I got a full rack to make a call because I guess they saw me like watching you guys. Well, you Miriam, right? And so I guess they knew that I knew you guys kind of sort of, or at least what you looked like, and so.
So, in 10 words or less, give a description of the individual who wanted you to watch it without using their name.
Oh, where the money came from? Oh, I got
Yeah.
a problem. I'll tell you that. You know this chick. Wait, hang on. Yeah, okay. So you know this. You know this chick named Lolly, friend of Evan.
Yes.
Like she said, bad things were gonna happen, and keep an eye out for you guys because you are spawns of Satan and chaos gremlins. Chaos gremlin. Murder hobos, murder homeless people. You murder homeless people and not to get you wet after midnight and don't feed you something. Something about gremlins and you murdering homeless people or hobos.
Are you talking about the 80s movie? It's fine. It's Lolly. So we're in danger. And
You are danger. Right, that's what she said. Yeah, you are danger. If you all, she said, get up to your old habits, or if you go down into hell. No. You are danger.
Okay.
But
Pause.
good danger.
Deep breath in. Deep breath out.
Yeah. Deep and
Hess, do we want to invite this guy in?
Yeah, he's okay.
yeah,
He's not gonna hurt anyone.
You ain't gotta put yourself out. Like, no, that's cool. We can talk in the dark. Gives me but the light only shining from the outside gives, like, it makes like talking to you guys real magical. Like, it's cool.
Nah, Miriam, I'm just wondering if we need to offer him a snack or not. Some refreshments. Since he is doing a good service by keeping the peace, or at least reporting on it.
He's fine.
Alright. Having been given the red light on Operation Get a Snack, he's just going to lose interest in the situation. If he's a problem, solve it. If not, I'll be in the office waiting for the phone call.
It's like the classics. If it's a problem, I'll solve it. Check out the hook and the DJ resolve it.
Isn't that a little old for you?
The blank stare of a man who has little to no idea of what he's talking about.
Oh no. I just always looked young for my age. When that came out, I was 12. No, I was 14 because I only been held back twice that time. That when that came out. Yeah.
Hess, who was practically a child genius, hearing that, winces visibly.
Miriam just isn't going to say anything, biting her tongue even though, like, her mind is screaming, your parents must be so proud.
Okay. He said, I got the
So-
point. Lolly sent you and paid you to watch us. Is it the same person you're supposed to call or a different person? If
No,
you got up
no,
to our
no.
old trick.
Lolly told me to call this other person. I don't even know who they actually are, but I know, like, you asked who told me to call, and it's Lolly. But she ain't really been herself lately. Like, talking to her is like talking to Evan. Like, you're talking to the same person, like, every time. She don't even talk about the Munchichis anymore. I love the Munchichis and My Chemical Romance and the Umbrella Academy. And have you seen her play bass? Like, a lot of people don't realize that she's like musically talented. Like, she's like borderline like Will I Am, like a musical genius. But since
Hess looks at Miriam. Do you think if we asked him for the phone and we dialed it ourselves, we'd find out quicker who was on the other side?
no, then I won't get paid again. Like, come on, man. I'm just one all alone in the world, trying to make the best of a good situation. And I'm talented. Like, I'm really, really talented. But since the painted lady's back up and actually operating like full time, I don't get as much business anymore. And since Miriam found out that I wasn't gonna shit talk Miriam, she don't let me work at the shop anymore either. So
Oh, do you need a job? My shop's still up and running.
yeah, but wouldn't it be like weird being so close to the love of your life?
I can't. And Hess jumps down off the little stool and walks away.
My brother in Christ, I'm cringing for you.
No.
Yeah, I knew you were one of the good ones. Like, I didn't want to make you uncomfortable because I know how much like that. I know how much like we share. Like, nobody else knows, or even like how much art you get rid of and throw out that doesn't meet your standards. If people just knew how much you cared about art, like that alone would make your name bigger than even the Painted Lady. Like, if people knew just how much actual art you just threw out, or how much hair product you threw out as you throw out as a dead person, it's just like you really get to know people by what they get rid of and toss away and discard or don't discard, which is weird.
She's gonna cross her arms and tilt her head to the side. Do you have a point?
Yeah, we know each other. Like, we're like, Lolly was telling me how her and Evan are one huge bonfire broken into two different fires, and they only grow the closer they are to each other. The heat just magnifies and multiplies. She said it was flame twins or soul fires or
Twin flames?
yeah, and how they can heat a home or go nuclear. Like, and I understand nobody knows you like I know you, and no one knows me like you know me. Like, we even finish each other's
Sandwiches.
Is this a Frozen reference?
Hey, there we go. You get it. You get it. And even though you're not the same, we are the same in the places that count. You need blood. I need blood. You are a great artist. I appreciate great art, and I working on my forms. I even use your old sketches to practice. And who don't like Lolly? I don't like Lolly. Like, they're friendly enough, but I know you don't like them. Otherwise, no one would ever think that you were scary or that you would take a life. No one would like spread that badness about you if you didn't like them.
Oh no, she was there when
Oh.
that happened.
See, and she
It
couldn't
was
keep
just
your
that one
trust.
time there.
She couldn't keep it. And she couldn't keep your trust. She couldn't keep your loyalty. She's out here telling everybody. Like, I've seen you do horrible, horrible things. But I understand. There's a reason for those things to happen. Like that massacre you did in that condo. There's a reason why those people deserve what you gave them. Only someone who understands each other, like you twin flames that we are, like part of the same soul. Like, you complete me and I complete you. There's a reason why, like, I know you wouldn't be upset about me making a little money on the side, especially being as I probably would just wait till you guys leave, like I always do, to call anybody, let them know where you went.
Once again, who are we calling? Or just the phone number.
Oh.
The phone number would be fine.
Oh, hold on. Oh, wait, you don't know?
I didn't even know Lolly was having you watch us.
Well, Lolly wants to prevent the next, how does she put it? The
Apocalypse.
next catastrophic destruction of the primogen. Something about saving the rose. I don't know. She was all over the map that night. I think she probably drank a little too much of Evan. But she didn't
It's
even know that you
possible.
guys had already made Rosa disappear. She's telling me that that's gonna be the sign of the sign of the times. It's weird. She was like, Flyboy is gonna become a man. He's gonna pick up the reins of
He's gonna what?
the rainmakers. Like, the boy's no longer gonna fly. The man rise or some. You know how she gets when she drinks really deeply of Evan, and something about, you know, killing the big worm and uniting the two halves underneath. Wait, what did she say? Uniting the two halves under Deltonas, the Deltones. I didn't like that band at all. The Deftones kind of suck. They're so depressing. But somehow, you killing the Rose, which she was. I took that to mean that she was trying to talk about Rosa, but you know, that's just foolishness. Why don't you just say Rosa? I know she's doing a whole Evan thing and different voice, and like she's watching a movie and telling you half-assed information of what's happening on the screen. So the man walks into the store to meet the girl who does the thing, but the guy behind the counter for the man who just walked in to meet. Why just say what you mean? Like, going round and round in circles, that's just ridiculous. It's a time waster. I know why you all disliked her. I know why you sent her running.
Miriam is going to clap her hand a couple times. Focus. Who are we calling?
Are you serious? You don't know?
We just went over this.
Huh. That's funny. Supposedly the number's going to this person called the Pater. I don't speak Latin, but I know that Pater's like guy. But every time that I've called before, it's been a woman.
Is her name... Give me a moment here. It could be one of two. It could be Vittoria, the woman answering the phone, or it could be Sophia, the one in charge.
No, they don't sound like it's Sophia. Like Al, Sal, Gal, something like that.
Is it something like Sal or Gal?
Yeah, which I know that is a fake name. Because we're supposed to be calling the Pater, which is Latin for like daddy. But it's a girl. And she's giving me a fake name. The reason why I always wait till you guys already go on your way before I even call. Actually, remember that night you killed that cop over on Howard?
No.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, Hesher. Remember that detective that was snooping around? Well, you were busy. But when we're not together, you don't pay me no mind. And I know it's our little game that we play. But when you don't pay me no mind, I make a few extra bucks watching everybody else. And so a couple of weeks ago, when Hesher killed that cop, well, she didn't really kill that cop, but we know that she killed that cop because Damien wouldn't have done it for anybody else, but he made the cop disappear with his other cop buddies because the cop was snooping around and sniffing around what's going on here at the shelter. And Hesher got rid of him. Had him replaced too. That was real nice too. Nice of you to make sure that his family got the pension. That was good work. It was a good job. That was good stuff.
You know, you look thirsty. Why don't you come inside for a while?
We go to the next step. You know, as much as I don't like Lolly, because you guys don't like Lolly, I'm okay with it. You know, as long as it's not about you guys. She can be right. She's like this tonight. Would be defining tonight because you guys would be here instead of with the what did she say it? The Carthage Lilithians, the worshippers of Carthage or Midas.
Yes,
yeah, because you guys would be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said this tonight would be defining. But yeah, I don't mind if I do. You guys normally have like, extra people.
She puts on a big smile and ushers him in.
You know what? I think I'm just going to go paint now.
You don't want to know what else
you gonna go paint? You gonna go paint? You gonna do another heart? It's been a long time since you did a heart, and it's taken so much time to keep it beating. I don't know how you did it the first time, but I know that if I feed it a little bit of my vitae, it keeps beating.
I'm sorry, it does what?
Your beating heart piece, the one you threw out because it wasn't good enough. I've been practicing it, and I found out if I mix a little of my vitae in with the ink, it keeps beating.
Miriam is just going to shoot her eyes over to Hestia because she thought that it was burnt. Or stabbed, or all of the above.
Yeah, That's what I'm saying. You sure you don't want to find out what else he knows?
Bro, this guy was there on the day you were born.
Clearly.
It's not as good as yours, of course. Now, it's not as good as your dancer that you keep doing every full moon that you toss out. But I'm working on it. I even got little sketches. Let me show you. And he reaches into his back pocket, pulls out a flip style memo sketchbook. And as he flips, showing off his handiwork, he's an immaculate tracer. Not that he actually traces, but he has been copying Miriam's hand, her line weight, and much of her perspective studies, that it looks as if it's in your hand. There's no way that those dates are accurate, but if they are, every month around the 15th, around the Ides of the month, according to his dates, you are discarding sketches, torn pages from your book that he is copying. And there's the dancer in the red dress.
Those are indeed very good tracings.
Oh, no. The tracings are only the first couple of ones, but I kind of figured, wait, I don't know why you keep doing that, though. Like, you'll ball them up and set them on fire and toss them out. It's not that hard to put the fires out. Just wonder what part of the game that was. Until I figured out that every time you actually burn them and get rid of them, all it takes is a little vitae and roll them out. They're just good as new. Like this one. And he flips through, finally finding the page.
Has the phone rung back, or
We look toward the phone, expecting it to go off any second now. Going back to the sketches. And without meaning to. With no intentions of doing so, your eyes cut towards the metal drawer, whereupon Theo, or at least Theo's body, with his soul trapped inside, now resides. He's standing inside your threshold. He's standing inside the shelter for once. It is hard not being warily paranoid in this particular situation. Aaron's beast is prowling around the edges of his being, causing his head to feel as if he's suffering from a migraine. Miriam standing face to face with moments of her absence. Engaged as she has been for these last few years, rebuilding a stable base for the worship of Lilith in a palatable, publicly accessible way, protected by members of the Primogen Council themselves. There are clearly moments where she has not been, yet she was. In Hestia, There's only so many times you can hear the same story and not know what comes next. This is the first time in several years where what comes next hasn't been planned. What comes next should be one thing. Yet from everything that you're reading in the script, you see it. You all have been outrunning your just desserts for a very long time. You've been outrunning the sin. That is in Aaron's case. Past existences, Miriam's, and past decisions. Questions. Yet in the blink of an eye, in a tossed off moment, Id is here with proof that all is ever actually done. You all ponder that. It is 44 after the hour. Let's come back here at the turning of the hour and continue from there. Greetings. How we doing?
Oh, that jump
Everybody
scared
back?
me. Holy shit.
Jump scare? Did you realize I'm too fat to jump?
Damn. Violence.
You lucky you all the way over there, because you would get beat up for that one.
What an
I'm too
interesting thing to come back to.
Oh, that I'm too fat to jump. That's a shame. If someone told you who they are, you should.
That's
Never
my
doubt
friend you
them.
talk about. You better stop.
Fine, so be it. I don't see what your problem is. I'm only using what God gave me. But we are, in fact, back. All four of us. That is, it's gotta be a record of some sort.
Yeah? What do you mean?
I say it was a good one or a bad one or a high record to me. I'm sure that that's a record. All of us are back early. And we are now officially at the end of our break.
Hell yeah.
So when we last left, there were several truths. A way of second-hand and third-hand fact sitting there before the coterie. Gid, who, like the perpetual fourth wall, has always been close enough to see, to watch, to overhear, to interact after, to be close enough to feel the warm seats on your departure. Invisibly, constantly, avariciously watching and absorbing moments. Faye has been the longest running compatriot to the shelter.
Just kind of calling from around the way. Is he gone yet, or is he coming in, or what's your guys' plan here?
Yeah, I'm here. I haven't been inside with you guys still, like, here before. Like, it's weird. For the longest time, every time you come through this side door, it's so hot down here. For a morgue, it's supposed to be cold, but because of the oven upstairs, it makes this little space so much warmer than you would think. Amazing. Like, how'd you guys get all those generators to operate in line and not be on the same circuit?
Don't. You'd have to talk to her about that.
Why? You scoped the place out, just like that Dio kid.
Yeah, but
But you know.
sometimes letting people know how much you know is a bad idea.
Is that the reason why you? Oh, I get it. You trying to tell me shut up, huh? You can just say that, man. Like they taking you in, like all the others who died. It's fine. I know you better than you think you know you.
I don't doubt that, but also don't need to hear that.
Oh no, I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm not while you're here.
Looks over to Hestia with an almost like plaintive, hungry look.
Oh, speaking of like, while you're here, you guys hear that Itzog went down south? I know you guys liked him, for some strange reason. I never trusted the guy. Now he's violating his whole faith, doing what he does. But he left the city. I haven't seen him since.
Alright, I didn't catch the name. What was that?
Itzhak.
Itzog.
Yes, looks at Miriam and makes motion to her hand, and then tucks fingers down so that they're missing fingers.
Ah. Miriam will nod.
Once he's more fully in, she is going to re-shut and lock the door. And as they get closer to the morgue room itself, there's not really good cell phone service down here. And then, of course, the Tesla cage that was their Nosferatu friend helped them build. So Hess heads to the office and flips the switch in the office, activating the Faraday cage, but then also grabbing that one last sealed bottle that Lucio left behind at the shelter. And she had not wanted to touch it this whole time, but now they kind of need it, so she takes the bottle out of the bottom drawer.
Oh, that's what you were hiding. Did you find the two bottles up in his room?
Sorry, what?
Those bottles, those come from the Darcy vintage. Like they're like collector's items. Critias has like 3 bottles. Usabo has 1 that he got from Critias. There's supposed to be 4 more of those, and I thought I found them, but the 2 in his room aren't the same vintage. You could tell by the label. But yeah. Did you find those other 2 bottles?
Miriam is just going to look at Hestia.
Puts the bottle down very carefully and very deliberately goes into the office and shuts the door.
Alright.
You're gonna be
The
okay.
office
Like
is
she's never.
mostly soundproof, but you hear shit moving, like furniture moving.
You know, Miriam, it might be a good idea once she's spent to maybe try and help her through whatever she's going through right now.
Oh no,
Yeah.
she's good. No, she's good. She's super good. Like normally she doesn't even let on. Like she got this little young. I think she's Tremere. I'm not sure, but been following around with her these last couple of weeks. Something awful, and that girl is troublesome. Like she make my ears hurt. How often she's constantly questioning and antagonizing and annoying. But Hesha don't even do this for her. This is like how people say arthritis. Yeah, car arthritis. Like when you get to like the crash of like feelings and the beast and everything, and you reach a point of car arthritis.
Okay.
Catharsis.
Yeah, car arthritis.
Yeah. Alright. Oh. Just to be clear, what Darcy vintage? You're not talking about that one, are you?
No, it's like a whole thing. Like um Sephora, not Sephora. I know it sounds the same, but I made that mistake too. Cause like, why would you put your name on, become famous, and anyway? But no, it's Sephora. The Bloods are her right hand dude was their right hand dude. He still got buddies on the cops. Of course, I ain't really seen him in person, but like he's a force to be reckoned with. Like no lie.
Hmm.
He used to do all of that dirty work. I thought that's why you were here when you were snooping around, and Lolly told me to make sure you didn't get pulled into them because like it'd be blasphemous to your God. And I tried to like keep you from finding Lucio, but you're pretty good. You're pretty persistent too.
Oh.
Miriam will glance over at Aaron. You were looking for Lucio?
Yeah, that's what Estia reached out to me for.
The crashing kind of finally stops, and she walks out quietly with cups and very carefully, pops open the bottles and starts pouring for everybody. She pours an extra measure for Aaron, and she pours one for their guest because that's what she would.
I told you, car arthritis.
Catharsis.
I'm gonna need a spa day after today. Just generally like taking the cup, looking at it, and then once that, like not even fully intellectually processing whatever is in it, but just the key elements of it is a red liquid, sets off that instinctual part of him, and before he realizes that he's already indulging.
I believe this one was meant to be kind of like a cherry cordial, but vitae tinged, or vitae with cherry cordial.
Miriam will take a sip.
Aaron, would you be so kind to go ahead and use the slash slake for your character too?
Oh, that's right. It automates this shit. Let's go. Alright. With the mention of an extra measure, I assume I'm taking 2 doses of this shit?
Yep, hence the reason slake 2.
Alright. Boop, boop. Come on, baby.
Give that a quick click.
Ruh-roh.
Fate lends a hand. As Gid raises the glass and he's rambling through a very bawdy toast, Aaron takes the full measure down his gullet. And while Aaron was the person, was the being, was the entity that took it to its lips, he was not the entity that sampled. He was not the entity who all but crushed the glass, getting every single microscopic particle into his gullet. Aaron is not who's in charge. Is there anything that Hestia, Miriam, saying or doing?
Oh, no. Miriam knows not to get in front of a frenzied vampire and will be taking a step back.
Hess would have had the bottle in her hand, seeing how much is left, and wondering if it's maybe possible to try to use it to break up Segundus.
So as Aaron goes lights out, she's just staring into the bottle as Miriam steps back from the table.
Well, basically, she had poured, and then she took her cup and the bottle and walked towards the drawers. So her back is to Aaron and the rest of them.
Oh. Haven't you learned, Hestia, about presenting your back to my characters?
One of these days, I'll get it right.
It's okay. It's okay. It always ends up fun.
So, yeah. Aaron, would you be so kind as to roll a ceiling 9 random number for me, please? 1 through 9. 1 through 3 is Hestia. 4 through 6 is Gid. 7 through 9 is Miriam.
Alrighty. And if I get a 10, I'll reroll. That is a 1. Sorry, that is a 9. 1 success for a total of 9 on the die.
9.
Delightful.
Alright, well, fate again lends its hand, lends its aid and its strength towards the entirety of the madness that is this moment. Because as the glass goes up, it is Aaron who's partaking of the beautiful, sweet dessert wine that is made of vitae inside. Who has the opportunity, the briefest flickering of moments of enjoying the craftsmanship necessary to provide such a sweet reprieve all of the cloying, sticky, salty darkness around him. But it is not Aaron who fangs distended leaps for more specifically or most catalyzed by the delicious scent in her glass, because unlike Gid, unlike Hester who's establishing a distance, Miriam was quite, as per the etiquette for such a highly valued vintage, sipping and allowing the flavors to blossom and build. Miriam, well aware to not become a victim of opportunity, taking a step back, drew whatever is in possession of Aaron's being towards her. Like the moth that is overexposed and so much part of the zeitgeist that it is used ad nauseum and causes no small amount of mental regurgitation every time we hear like a moth to a flame. Yeah, that very much is what takes place. Drawing inexorably towards what might be their death, the being in possession of Aaron, Aaron's darker self, Aaron's impulses for satiation, leaps across the distance and the space. Aaron, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength plus brawl as you seek to grapple, and drain the sweet source of blood for you.
You are so infinitely lucky, Miriam.
No, she will happily hand him her cup.
The ravening beast that is attempting to pull the vitae from your body. What is it that you are attempting to do?
I will quell the beast.
Oh, excuse me. Please set the DC in place.
Miriam!
And Aaron.
Yep.
Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your stamina?
Roll my stamina.
Yeah, roll your stamina plus your bane.
Should be 2 at this blood potency. Alright. Ah, darn it. Okay. Let me go ahead and adjust.
Jawohl. As the battle for continued existence, as your actions, your beast actions are now at a -1. As your limbs grow heavy and there's a spur, a white hot cattle prod shoved deeply and manifestly through the center of your being. Is there any attempt to say the beast, your beast, hands, as you make contact with skin to skin, and a gentle ululation begins echoing up and out of her. The snarl of frustrated need to satiate fills the more. Hearing these battles, hearing this tumult, is there anything either of the three of you are doing? Because Gid is torn. He knows enough. He knows that Miriam abhors violence. He knows that 'tis better that 100 evil men go free than one innocent man suffer, or some such, as he bothers to look up a time or two on YouTube.
It-
Positions.
Hess is going to put down the bottle. Turn it around. The fuck?
Miriam will just hold up the cup. Here you go.
And I suppose Aaron will use the last dregs of his willpower to fight through the urge to bite down and drink until dry, and instead go for the cup.
Yes, because while you are lethargized, the beast is still in the driver's seat. And even though you are lethargized and pressed skin to skin, as it were, the drive is still very much there. Handing the cup is giving an ape a sword, and all it wants is the food that's on your table.
Mm. Just in an
Hess
attempt to
looks,
continue.
Hess looks at their guests. I'm like, you just gonna let him paw your girl like that? You ain't gonna fight for her?
Oh no, I'm not going to violate the peaceful adjudication of anything. I'm not. No, I know. There was a time, but anyway, no. It is better to let nature take its course than to do harm. We have to protect our principles in every way that we can. People are so willing to run out there and kill for the things that they are angry with instead of living in their truth and dying for what they believe in. I would never take that agency from Miriam. She believes in the peaceful cohabitation of all things. There's got to be a peaceful way for this to work out. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. Can we just talk this over? Use your words. Like, there's something else inside you besides snarls. Like, calm down. Okay.
So why don't you try hugging it out? Go give him a hug.
No, I don't like dudes. Neither does Miriam, but I can tolerate them from a distance. I don't need touch. I don't need touch. Miriam, you okay? You got this? You good? Hey, buddy, Aaron. Come on, use your words.
I really just want you to bleed.
It's a little bit hurtful, but at least you're in touch with that. And that's fine. Use those feelings. Because you don't want to hurt anybody. In fact, you really just want to be loved, don't you? Like, when it really boils down to it, if you had the opportunity, you had just one shot to make it,
Are you
Would
gonna
you-
spout rap lyrics at me right now?
I wouldn't. I don't really. Oh, look. You're stronger than this. You're a survivor. We gonna make it. We gonna keep on, because you are a survivor.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I am a survivor. Food's part of survival.
That's your DC to beat or go along with if you fail. And Miriam, Gid is doing his great level appropriate best in trying to talk Aaron off the ledge. The chances of that actually working are not slim and none. Slim isn't part of the equation at all. As you're holding the cup between you, is there anything that you're attempting?
Miriam is just going to like put it up to his lips and start tipping it a little bit. Toddlers need their sippy cups.
Well, your dexterity and either athletics or persuasion. Because Gid is doing his god-awful absolute best. He is effectively giving his emancipation proclamation. He is effectively declaring that this is our Independence Day. Beast is telling him to fuck off in the most kindred way possible by just sinking Faye. Fuck off. There's no time for this. There's some necks that need to be getting. While it is not amusing in the least, but have you seen individuals who have been so nutrient deprived that the effort and act of trying to feed themselves and trying to drink themselves causes more of it to be worn about them in their rush to satiate than what actually makes it inside them? That's very much as Miriam is struggling and moving and trying to get the cup tilted up, and he's trying to bite past the cup to get the fingers that are holding the cup, and Gid is there prattling on and on. Some would say ad nauseum, but it doesn't quite sum up just how droning and how many lyrics from fight songs are interspersed with his attempt to make a connection to Aaron to get him from off the ledge. There's a safe speed to drink the vitae from the vein. There's a safe speed to take one's life's blood into oneself. This is the opposite of that. There's nothing safe nor remotely engaging about the scrabbling, male rush to consume that's taking place. And like all things, eventually Rome was built. Enough of the spilling, sloshing bouteille from the glass makes it past the mad, frowning, angrily hungry being. Enough of it coats, slides along, that the eyes are less constricted. There's less dancing lights at the back of the eye. There's some clarity. The arms holding you firmly, Miriam, aren't soul crushing. Oh, it's easier. And Kid still rattles on.
So, quick question: how tall is Aaron?
Nails for the YouTube are their actual relative heights to each other. I did for the mock-ups. That is exactly where they actually are in relevance to each other's heights and relative weights on the thumbnails. One that's clearer than the other. Nets are being slow. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
It's all good. I was busy getting the shit clawed out of me by a kitten who's trying to type and
Don't
attack
call
me puppy
Aaron
dogs.
a kid. He likes Mr. Kitty.
So from the image I've got here, I'm about 4 inches taller. 3 to 4.
Okay. Miriam will just kind of look up at him as he starts to calm down. Not that I don't enjoy a good cuddle. But we missed some steps first.
Oh, God, I do not have the patience to joke around right now.
She'll boop him on the nose and step back.
I'm gonna go find a nice corner to sit down in. I feel better, but so fucking tired.
See, isn't it better when we use our words? It's a good day. A very good day. And you have the feeling to know that I'll be here and we'll have things you'll want to shit talk about, and and I do too. Isn't it a great feeling?
If you quote Mr. Rogers one more motherfucking time,
As far as I can tell, this guy is just 90s TV personified.
I did more than watch TV. I listened too.
You're like some fucked up kindred version of Jim Carrey's The Cable Guy.
What was wrong with that movie? It was ahead of its time. It deserved an Oscar.
well, now that nobody's going to eat him, I'm gonna go back to what I was doing. She pulls Anand's drawer and then dribbles some of the drink down to see what happens.
Choices is what happens. Choices. There's only so much your resources you have on hand. And not for the first time, and certainly not for the last. Choices would be made. It's not the first time that you've been in a situation where it was either this or that. And in this case, it's either attempt, a nod, or the instinctual response. Hestia lived as a scientist. She died as a non-Christian scientist. The theory of testing to destruction, or testing till you have a provable failure, a replicable, provable failure, is not something that's beyond her ken. In fact, most of what she has done throughout the entirety of her existence as a kindred could be broken down to the scientific method. The emotional responsibilities and realizations of that aside, it could always be broken down to that. Test to failure and test to replicable failure and track, trace, and measure. Case where it was this or that, she chose this. She chose a non. There's no probability in the world that would give this moment to her again. And trusting in her feeling, trusting in her heart, she chose this. There's only enough blood. There's only enough servings left for one or the other. And then she begins to pour, and she begins to dribble, so that the tea wells up in the creases of the lips as it begins to seep inward, slowly. She realizes what she's chosen. She understands what she's chosen. And for the first time in her recent memory, she chose something solely for herself.
She's going to empty the bottle and wake Anand.
Torpor is no place for anyone. It's one of the reasons why it's used by wily kindred as a torture for lessers. Putting up with one's own self is a difficult thing, especially when you don't have the heel sword of self-delusion. When you are able to honestly stare, and in torpor, it's not about choosing to honestly stare, choosing to honestly understand. In torpor, it is the only thing that is possible. You don't have a choice elsewise. It is you, your beast, and every moment where there was even the most minute niggling concern of shame, guilt, greed, anger, lust, where there was any bit of self-gratification, where there was any bit of intrusive thoughts of imposter syndrome, if there was any personal schadenfreude, all unbridled, all in 4K, all with surround sound and big as life and twice as bright. You and your darkest moments, your decisions and choices and the consequences thereof. Seconds in torpor feel like years, because while you, the conscious you, is trapped with all of those gory, glaring moments, your body is still collecting all of the impulses, the light before you, the sounds around you, the scents bombarding you, being absorbed through the skin even, the feel of the air, all of it. Turning those moments of self-reflection that you can't avoid into hell. There's a philosophy about what heaven might be. Finding the one perfect moment of your entire existence and living in that moment forever, ever. That's heaven. It is also, unfortunately, hell. That perfect moment devoid of reasons why you chose, what statement you were making, what did you risk, what did you lose, what gave that moment value in the span of your life, all stripped away, all torn, burned, and discarded. Only that moment, devoid of all of the other meanings and connected to it. Where Anand, that's where Theo is in. So as Aaron and Miriam watches, as Hestia seeks to resurrect her light, you all realize what that decision is doing, or could be doing, to Theo. You realize what that choice made might wreak. This or that, as you watch, as Hestia watches. Is there any conversation, consideration for you all in the moment?
You, suppose it was your choice to make. Just hope we can get the other one up quick.
She's been under for longer. She deserves to be able to be back. And then she's looking at Anon. Come on, baby girl. You got this. You can come back. We need to get back to work.
I would wager she's also the safer choice at the moment.
Yeah.
It'd be a little unpredictable.
Yeah, if we're not sure that shit he's dealt with, I agree.
You know, the weirdest thing is we've been waiting for that phone call a while now.
If the phone call hasn't come, it either will soon, or they're sending somebody rather than making a call. In which case, let's hope it's a friendly chat situation and not a... well... Anyways... So, like...
You all supposed to call somebody too?
Yeah, well, we're supposed to get called by somebody, though I'm honestly astonished that you didn't know that, Trivia Man.
Oh, I could guess, but um, I didn't have much time to prep or guess about it. I didn't know who you guys were calling. Normally, I just check the phones after you guys leave. You guys never call anybody from the landlines. Lots of people calling in though.
Hestia, Miriam, which of you two, is fond enough of this guy to maintain
Come
a working relationship?
Come on, Aaron. We've done so much with each other. Like I wouldn't have known that almost killed Lucio's sister if not for you snooping around and trying to find who was following weeks ago. And and the fact that you're so good at your job, this made me a better person. Like we've grown together because of your skills and your efforts. You've made us both better.
I'm sorry. Put a pin in that for a second. You almost killed Lucio's sister?
Oh, he didn't know it was her sister. He still doesn't.
Look, it didn't happen, so it doesn't matter.
See, that's why I like you. You cut things right down to the easy to understand. Like he's full of car arthritis.
Miriam is just going to go walk over and stand by Hestia.
Oh no. See, I'm not claiming him. I am not claiming him.
After all of that we shared, Miriam, I can't believe you would do this in front of our friends like this. After all that we've shared. Now, a lot of it you didn't know we were sharing, but we've took baths together.
Miriam is going to arch her eyebrow at that.
Okay, this is honestly starting to get pretty funny. At first I was a little bit thrown off by it, but years of just listening to telephone lines makes this honestly a funny experience.
That's where you got your skills from? Oh my god. So 4 parties ago, it was really, really hard getting an invite. I still didn't officially get an invite, but I replaced one of the staff members, and I only heard them a little bit. They should be okay in a couple of weeks. And so it was a bad
just goes
party.
higher.
It was like a scene out of that comic book movie with the blood showers that she had arranged. It was beautiful. It brought tears to my face. And Miriam, she was on one side of the room and I was on the other, but the blood showering us is from the same place, so we took a bath together. I can't believe how you connected with that blonde girl. You really changed her life. You know she is a CPA now. She was so close to dropping out, but sharing that moment with you totally changed her perspective. And to think, if you and I hadn't been bathing together, no one would know. No one would know how many people you touched and were touched by.
Miriam's just kind of going to smirk and is like, well, it's actually a lot of people.
Yeah, but no one knows how many people overlap with what's going on with the Karens, the Helens, the whatever. But no one knows that that's an easy connection to make, or that they were scouting you the whole time. And nobody would know either, if not for us sharing a bath together. So who are you guys calling?
You know what? I think you'll figure out soon enough, honestly. That your powers of deduction are very much within the realm that I believe that is a good assumption.
Wait, is deduction the same as seduction? I always get those two confused. One
No, they're
is
different.
okay. Deduction and deduction.
Hestia very quietly walks past Aaron and whispers that call and tell them this. Sort of.
Mm-hmm. Just waiting on the ring.
The ring that happens right about now. And then some. It's been a very long time since you've heard an actual wired landline ring. There is something ominous about it, even when you were expecting, because it would always come at the least prepared moment. And that's when the phone rings. That's when the bell tolls. Because it very much is a bell. Inside that phone, there is a very little bell. It's only about 2.5 inches in diameter. But it's loud and it's amplified. And in the cold space of the morgue, it's the only thing that sounds mostly alive. At least until its third or fourth ring, turning from surprise and shocking to annoying. Will someone fucking get it?
Well, it's your call. Go get it.
Yep. He says, standing to his feet and heading off.
As Aaron stands, so too does Anand. Anand brings up, free of the unending void of her own mental spaces, her own emotional breaks and cracks. And it is 55 after the hour. I thank you all for a lovely episode. I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a lovely evening.
I never realized the actual, like, fucking discomfort that the stalker, like, flaw could initiate until this guy basically read off my diary.
Right? And he's not even your stalker.
He's not even my stalker. I'm just related to you in some way, and thusly, he has to have enough tangential information about me to pass a fucking essay.
Oh, Hess is
Right,
not happy.
right.
She is not happy.
I have literally just been sitting here waiting for one of you to ask me to kill him.
See, that Miriam will never ask someone to kill someone for her.
No,
That's
Miriam won't ask, but Hess was trying to set him up so that it seemed like a oops.